when I show up to perform, it's it's a giving moment for me. I'm there to give my energy to everyone and and create as much, of that as I possibly can, so that people, while they're there, they can take away some of that with them. But I don't know it, but I don't think about it, but I get so much of it back, right? I mean, it's like I walk out, I thought I just gave 100, and then I'm walking out, I'm like, man.
This episode of Grounded in Maine is sponsored by ESG Review. ESG Review magazine is published quarterly in February, May, August, and November, and is available for free in print and digital formats. ESG Review is devoted to environmental, social, and governance strategies, technologies, and investments. ESGreview.net is updated every Wednesday with 8 new stories and is home to feature articles, news items, and more. Visit esgreview.net to stay informed and help us spark the collaboration and awareness needed to develop sustainable economies and communities around the world.
There's a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Grounded in Maine podcast is an open conversation about how we show up for the world. I started this podcast out of a desire to learn new ways to be sustainable because the word sustainability is big. It can be overwhelming, and I just wanted to learn, different ways to try to be part of the solution and not feel like it's too late. So I'm talking to people who are doing different things and learning so much. I hope you are too. Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy, and my guest today is Mark Winters, who is an aerospace engineer, but now he is a full-time musician, and he's about to go on tour next month. So, Mark, thank you so much for being here. I love your message, and I can't wait to, just share that. And I think it's really beautifully timed, honestly.
Thank you so much, Amy. I love your podcast and your thoughts around sustainability, and I really am looking forward to sharing some of my rock with a positive, nerdy vibe with everyone as we talk today. I'm excited to get out on the tour and spread my little proton messages everywhere. So it's going to be a fun chat with you and a fun tour coming up.
My goodness. So okay, so you're an aerospace engineer, and you just started writing and playing music not too long ago, like a couple of years.
Yeah, 2011 is when I first picked up a guitar to play a song for my wife for our anniversary. So I hadn't sung or played before then, and really found this emotional monster tidal wave when I was doing it. I was like, oh man, this is so cool, that I became obsessed. I really didn't think about writing my own. I've been a poet my whole life, but I didn't think about writing my own stuff until I started changing everyone's lyrics. And when I was singing songs, and everybody kept telling me to stop doing that, and so
Stop doing that.
yes, it started with Brown Eyed Girl. I got a Blue Eyed Girl, so I would sing Blue Eyed Girl, and they're like, Van Morrison does not approve.
Van Morrison doesn't like that.
Yeah. So yep, aerospace engineering for most of my the beginning part of my adult life.
Okay. And so, but you had said that you've been writing poetry though for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal part of my life. It started, I don't know, a lot of things sort of happen in some kind of a random way to me that leads me to a big eureka or unlock for me. And so I have 4 brothers, and we were hanging out with my grandma in East Texas for the summertime, and being the typical rambunctious testosterone-filled boy I was running everywhere. And I remember just waking up from like some kind of a magic spell in her sitting room, and we were writing poetry about lilies, and I was 5 years old. I was like, how did I get here? I don't even know.
Ah,
Uh,
that's so cool. Like, just, you know, you go from this like crazy kid, you know, running around, lots of energy, to just like sitting and being entranced
yeah,
and just enveloped in this poetry. And it
yeah.
was, you know, I'm sure part of it was like spending time with your grandma, of course, but finding something in common is just so sweet.
Yeah, it was amazing, and we paint together. We've been poetry pals my whole life, and I think just writing poetry, it's like it unlocked the creative side of me. The science and engineer part of me was so dominant, and the testosterone, the sports, and everything else. It was just not room. I couldn't hear the voice in my head, and that unlocked it. And then throughout most of my life, I've written poetry for friends and family. It's been sort of a casual thing. And I really, words matter when I say them, when I sing them, when I write them. And so I would write, some special poems to people, and I like to read them to them after I'd written them. It was a bit awkward. Most of my friends knew me as an engineer, right? Or this heavy science person or whatever. And I'm like reading them a poem. They're like, okay, that was a good poem, but that was really weird. But you reading it to me?
It
I'm
feels
like,
like you're a different person.
yeah, hello.
Yeah.
So that kind of was my life, growing up, and really, it's like I would have to tell the scientist in me, right, to shut up when
Tone
I
it
was,
down.
yeah, when
Yeah.
I was looking at something. It's like it would want to. I'm so curious. I want to sort of break it all down. I don't know. Like I was out this morning. This is just like here where my brain goes. I'm out this morning, right after I take my dogs running in the morning. I'm out right after my run. It's a little cool here. I'm just sitting out in the breeze, and the sunlight's just kissing my face, and I'm just in a in this beautiful moment. And my science mind's like, that's like the sunlight from 8 minutes ago. It takes a long time for it to get here. So that's like the old sunlight. You didn't get the fresh sunlight. You got to wait another 8 minutes, right? I'm like, hold
Oh,
on.
but then it's old then.
Yeah, well, then it's all them too, right? And so, like, okay, then I could say, shut up, science mind. It's okay. I'm still enjoying the old sun,
Right? Just take
right?
that in.
Yeah, right. And so that happens often in my, you know, crazy brain, I guess. So yeah,
Wow. I love so much. I mean, it's so like it's interesting that people are like I mean, I get that. You know, they know you as scientist Mark, but at the same time like surely they have other things in their life. Like they're not just scientists. Like do they cook or do they read or do they, we're multifaceted and a lot of us are multifaceted, but I mean the way that you brought your science mind and your poetry background, and then you added music to it.
yeah, it's a bridge for me. I find, um, I meet a lot of people who are out in the world of science and entrepreneur careers and whatever else, and most of the people I find who are super successful have a bridge, right? They have a way that they bring their creativity and their curiosity and their love of math and science or some other applied area of learning. you know they have a hobby and they've learned to bridge the hobby. For me, music takes both sides of my mind to to comprehend and to create and to perform. And so that's one of the things I really love about it is it's got this emotional depth that's just alluring. It's like infinite. And then on the other hand, it's like, okay, but I can define it. I know what key it's in. I know what the oscillations are in the key. I know what the scale degrees are, right? When I'm singing a note, I know how fast, the harmonics are going. I know what the overtones are, right? But then, okay, but it feels a certain way. And so, and then all of a sudden I lock harmonies with somebody and then,
It's magic. Yeah.
oh, what just happened? Like I get goosebumps thinking about it. And so, yeah, music is my bridge, and it's really helped me focus, my creative mind in lyric, and my science mind and sort of building a plan to bring it to life, and even my positivity, my inner. I've always been super energetic, and I really see a lot of the positive elements in people and in places I visit and situations. And so it's allowed me to sort of meld together, my thoughts in a way that I can share with someone, right? I can package it and share it and say, hey, here's the thought from me, and here's my thought to you, and I'm giving you this gift, right? And it's a way for me to share it, and it feels very special.
Yeah. I mean, you had said, I think it was on your website that you said that music is the bridge between the analyzing world and the connecting on a human level. And just the way that you said that it's very musical,
It
very
really,
poetic.
yeah, to me, it feels very much like that. Like that, that's the feeling I got
Hmm.
the very first time when I sang a song to my wife. That bridge, like, oh, there's a bridge between us. Oh, yes, it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like you're two people. It's because you have this music that ties it all together. And so tell us, you were saying, you have this positive outlook, and your music it's like a rocky style. And so what brings you to Grounded in Maine with music?
Yeah, I say a couple of things. Um, you know, for me, um, you know, I think uh, having been out, especially having been out on tour last year, there's so much incredible beauty in the world, um, and we're all shepherds of it.
Hmm.
And when I'm out touring, I'm driving five hours a day. I'm in a different city every day. I'm running. I'm hiking. I just saw the world in a whole different way as I was out in it, living it every day. I'm playing. So not only do I get to perform to amazing people all the way, all throughout the United States and Canada, but I get to visit all these cool communities I never would have visited,
Hmm.
and see how much beauty there is out there in the world, and how you know how we can all sort of lean in a little bit to each other. We can make each other's days better. We can lean into the environment a little more, to create you know more awareness, more sustainability in our environments. I think just being much more mindful of the world uh, is where my music has led me. Um, and I think, you know, that inherent positivity in me, wants to get out and make a difference, right? Wants
Hmm.
me to help other people get out and make a difference. And that's really what led me to connect with you.
Awesome. I love that. And I've had a few guests on the podcast who just, they love to bring out the fact that the world is amazing, and we need to, it's helpful for us to find awe or to find beauty in everything. And when you find that, you want to take care of it and preserve it. And so that was a really big message for me. Not that I don't, but it's like, yeah, it was just like, an of course, yes, but it was not a way that I had considered it before. And so I love that, and of course now you have all this experience, because this is your second tour of North America, right?
Correct. Yeah. Last year I did a spring tour that went west. So I did all the western states in Canada. And then I had a fall tour that went east, and I did all the eastern states and the other side of Canada. And that was phenomenal. 20,000 miles each.
Each
So it was
way,
all, yeah, each way. Yep.
or each
Yeah.
tour, I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And this year I'm doing similar routes, and I'm so excited. I get people say, "Man, that's got to be hard, right?" It's got to be hard driving 5 hours a day, and doing all the things from the road. And I get such a lift. Um, I get to run. I love to run, rollerblade, surf. I'm out in the community. So if I plan my day right, I get to show up. I get to do a little bit of something that's beautiful out in the world, and then I come back, and then I get to do another thing that's beautiful, which is share my music, with a bunch of people in a new community. Um, And so I get such a lift out of that, that it doesn't, I come back, people are like, are you tired? No, I ran out of tour stops. I'm
Right.
like, okay, I'm ready to roll.
I'm on a
Uh,
high all the time.
yes,
Yeah.
that,
And I think I love
exactly
the
that.
idea that you like, you'll drive for 5 hours and then you get to do something out in nature, which will of course lift you up and give you that boost of energy before you go out and play, which it
Yeah.
just seems like a really, really smart way to go about that.
Yeah, and there's so many amazing. I'm such a curious person. There's so many amazing things that that help enable me to be out on tour. Like, Chat GPT talks to you on your phone, and you can make reservations. You can plan your logistics. There's all these really cool things that I can't imagine 5 years ago trying to plan a tour, right? The tools just weren't there. Now, I can just, so I'm driving for 5 hours. I'm writing songs because I got my voice memo. I can write songs. I'm planning the logistics for the next week. I'm doing, this whatever social media stuff I have to do it, but it's all happening, right? In real time from my phone while I'm driving.
Mm.
And then I get where I'm going to go, and I feel like I'm not behind, or whatever.
Right.
I've been productive for the drive time.
Yeah. You're not like, oh
And
my gosh, I still have to do this because you hands free.
yeah, it's like, okay, let's go for a run now, yay, and then let's go play some music. Yeah, pretty phenomenal. I don't know how people did it 10 years ago. Must have had a lot more people doing the thing.
Right. I mean, either a team or they had to do it before leaving, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm thankful. I'm so happy. Like, okay, all my little protons are firing. I'm ready to go.
Yes, yes. And so this is a bigger tour this year than it was last year. You said it's a pretty similar route, but how many cities did you say that you're?
This year I'll play 120 locations,
That's
um,
crazy.
and there are many really cool places that invited me back from last year. A lot of new places. I love playing. You know, my ideal spot, Amy. If you came to see me, I would say like a 100 to 300 seat theater. I love the intimacy of that. I love to tell stories. I love to have some shared moments. And that means you have to really be able to interact. And if it's, you know, I'm not the guy that's gonna, you know, be out playing, at the local pub, that is looking for, a cover performers, right? That's not. There's plenty of people who do a great job at that. That's just
Right.
not how I'm wired.
Mhm.
Um, so anyway, so I love those more intimate settings, and I've learned to find more of those, and they've been super welcoming to me as I have, you know, learned to be a performer, out on the road in all these different settings. And so this has been, I've been so fortunate that I've been accepted, and gotten to play a lot of collaborative shows with people, and shows in the round, and it's yeah, I'm feeling like I'm living my best life.
For sure. Oh my gosh, it's really exciting. And so you said you're kicking off. You have you've got a local show coming up in a couple weeks, and then you're starting off in Arkansas.
Correct. Yes, I've got a show. We have uh, a big kickoff show here in town. I have a lot of great friends in town, and I usually do like a collab ticket when I'm doing something in town. Um, it helps me book a venue that has that intimacy that I like, right? And so, collaborating with my friends, we can always bring in a good collaborative crowd. I have a lady that I write songs with here. We play in a trio together. Her name's Roxay, and so she and I are hosting the show. We have a really cool guy, Jimmy Eunice. He's a Mexican guy, really kind of a cool guy all the way around. And so he's on the ticket with us. We're playing at the Armadillo Palace here in Houston, Texas, as the kickoff show on March 7th. And I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to sharing the positive energy and the sense of community that goes with those kind of shows. And then a few weeks later, I'm off to the races.
For real. Yeah. 100. What did you say? 120?
120 shows. Yes,
Wild.
ma'am.
My goodness. And you're driving to all of them.
Yeah, each one is about a 5-hour drive on average between the stops.
And you've got it. You're doing like it's spring and fall, right? So you have
Yes.
like the summer off
Yeah. I'm back home for the summer.
to be in hot Houston.
I like the hot Houston, but my wife, she loves to get out in the colder climes, and so I'll probably take her somewhere. We went to Alaska, we've gone to Colorado, so I'll probably take her somewhere over the summer. She comes out and visits with me a week out of every month I'm on the road, which is
That's so
amazing.
nice.
But more than a week on the road, and she was ready to get back home because it's, if you're not the one performing and getting all that, love from everyone, then it's probably a little,
It's
more
not the same
of,
experience.
yeah, exactly. That is a good way to say that, Amy.
But that's nice that you get to spend time with her, even though you're 120 cities. My goodness.
Yeah.
And she's not driving. Like
No.
she's not driving to you once a month.
No.
Nice.
And that's my thing. Like, ever since we've been dating, I love driving, so I don't mind, doing the driving part of things. So she's a great navigator.
That's nice. That's a good team.
Uh-huh.
So tell us a little bit about your music.
I try to find things that I observe in the world, usually some kind of a science-oriented thing that also my poetic mind is feeling like it's something that I've observed and I need to share. So now, like a song called Signal. It's about a journey I took with two friends in town here. I had lunch with them both in the same week, and one of them is just the most phenomenally positive person. I had lunch with him, and good gracious, I could have lunch 2 or 3 hours with him. He's just, everything just lifts you up. He's just really an amazing person. And I had lunch with another friend that same week who we have the three of us, all three guys, we share almost like 95% of the same views of the world, right? But my second friend is the most negative person about it all, right? It's like he even if he likes something, it's like, and so it's such a negative energy moment for me. When I get back home, it's like I have to go for a run or something just to shake it all off, right? You probably have a friend like that. And so I had lunch with them in the same week, and at the end of the week, I was like, wow, am I doing that to my friends? Am I throwing like this crazy negative energy off accidentally or whatever? And made me very mindful of the energy that I was projecting. What's my mood today? Am I in a bad mood? I'm rarely in a bad mood, but I'm in a bad mood, and am I taking that on my dog, or am I taking that on my wife or my friends? Inadvertently, right? Am I being super mindful of the energy that I'm taking, that I'm putting out? And then how are other people's energies affecting me, right? I mean, I just had the experience where I had two different energy experiences in the same week, and I can tell you which one was better for me. And so I started thinking about me as a radio tower, right? I'm like, okay, here's my antenna, and I'm putting the energy out. And the lyrics start flowing, waves washing out from me, sending around all my energy, sometimes bright and shimmering, sometimes dark and stifling, right? And so I've got this notion that, I shouldn't put out random feelings. I should actually focus my mind on healing me and you. And so I want to make my energy a positive scream. I want you to hear it. I want you to feel it. I want you to know that I like you and I want you to be a better person, or I want you to feel better, or I want to help you wherever you are. I want to find a way to help you, you know, find some additional perspectives on life and positivity that can help you and it can help people around you. And so my song Signal is born, right, from this notion of, energy and science and philosophy, I guess. So that's a journey of how I would write a song. Um, yeah, I have other songs that I've written. Most of my songs have, early in my writing, uh, I was told to sort of dial back the science a lot.
Oh,
And
really?
so, yeah, because it just wasn't as relatable. Um, and so, my first set of songs that I put out were a little less sciencey. Some of them were sciencey, but some of them were just stories, and they were fun to write. Um, and I love telling the stories that go behind them. But as I kind of learned my lane, learned myself, and had written a lot more songs, I found that this area, like I wrote a song called "Speed of Light." Uh, it's a it's a nod to Einstein. He discovered the theory of relativity riding his bicycle. And I was in this moment in my life where I was like, I'm doing the thing. I'm writing. I'm putting songs out. I'm playing shows. Oh, I'm just doing the thing. And I keep doing the thing, and I feel like I'm not going anywhere. I'm just like stuck,
Mm.
right? And I wasn't progressing. But then I started thinking, well, is this a relativity moment? Like, what would Einstein think if he was riding on his bicycle watching me, or if I was watching him ride by on his bicycle, right? I actually am moving, in this case, moving at the speed of light. I just don't know it. I just feel like my bicycle starts to slow. I'm watching the rust start to grow on my bicycle. I'm just kind of going slow, but that's not actually what's happening, right? In the chorus, it's like, oh no, you are moving at the speed of light. You just don't know it. You need a different perspective. You need to look from a different place.
Hmm.
And so, little nerdy moment in that song. I actually wrote the song in a polyrhythm. So there's two time signatures that are overlapping each other
Okay.
in the way
Oh,
that the groove
overlapping?
works. Yeah, they come
So like
together.
4 4 3 4 4 4 3 4, that type of thing?
Yes, but
Different.
there's a riff in the song. Doom de doom de doom de doom de doom 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 de. So they come together on the pause,
Got it.
right? And so the groove has these two time signatures sort of laid on top of one another. So yeah, I think just from my point of view, that would be kind of a couple of songs that that started usually. I'll usually write maybe a haiku or two about what I'm feeling, and then they'll turn into something musical. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. Just trying to bridge my brain between the two parts and come up with something that's. I do write some songs have been like extra nerdy. Like I wrote a song called Triangulation. And so triangulation is a concept where you're trying to find something and you have three different points of reference that are giving you some kind of a visual or a wave marker that you can triangulate between them to find the location. That's how like a cell tower would find your actual location, right?
Okay.
But I wrote it in the context of I wanted to dance with a girl at my school dance, and I'm like looking at the field, and I can see her over there, and I'm trying to map a path for myself to her and keep an eye on her because she keeps moving, right? And so I, I wrote the song called Triangulation about getting getting to her, and then B, getting the courage to ask her to dance. Um, and so that was a little too nerdy. My songwriting friends were like, okay, that's very nerdy. So then I wrote a song
Well,
called
but that was in high
yeah.
school though, right?
That was a thought from high school. I wrote it later in my.
Oh,
I
okay.
wrote it like a year and a half ago. Yeah.
Okay. But it was about that time.
Yeah. It was a moment that I was thinking about back then. Yeah, and then so like sometimes I just have fun. Well, a lot of times I have fun. You can tell for that. I just always having a good time. But I told my wife I was going to write like the nerdiest little love song for her. She's like, "Oh, you're already a big nerd. Don't don't
How
don't
can
go
you do
super
more than
nerd.
you have
Yeah,
already?
nerd out, dude." I'm like, "No, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put as many nerdy science words in it as I possibly can." She's like, "Oh, no one's gonna want to hear that." And the funny thing is,
Your
it's like
wife said that? You're
yeah,
writing her a song and she
yeah,
said,
yeah. Who's gonna want to hear that, right? And so I wrote it, and it's my most popular song.
that's right.
Isn't it hilarious? It's
Well, I
called
mean, didn't you say you've got your Proton fans?
yeah. I've got
They're going to love that.
yeah. Well, I have lots of friends who uh, are scientists, and some who are not. Lots who are not. Some people just appreciate a little bit of nerdiness. But this song's called "Fake Gravity," um, and I've got a lot of really cool little science words, but I've done them in a way that they don't pop out too much, right? I'm standing on a cliff looking down at the ocean's break. I feel a new weight pulling down. Something's changed. If everything's black or white, why do neurons fly through my mind? I can feel our worlds collide when you whisper close. I'm accelerating through reality. Maybe gravity is fake. You lift me up, and so I put the nerdy little words sort of very carefully in the song, um, and had a great time writing that one for sure.
Okay. Does she hate it?
No, it's got a little more of a pop vibe than she
Yeah.
likes.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, she likes a little more. She's a little more rock oriented,
Okay.
and so when I write a song that's got a little more of a rock vibe to it, I think she likes those better. She gets to hear my songs all the time, Amy. It's like yeah, that's one of the things ha, we had to re-experience each other in a way because I went from being an engineer to
Right.
being
It's a big
an
change.
artist. Yeah. And we had to sort of reconnect because she's like used to me doing this thing. And then all of a sudden I'm doing that thing. She's been just phenomenally amazing. But I learned early, a friend of mine, a songwriter, told me, do not expect your friends and family to be your fans. They may not even like your music, and that's okay.
Right.
Um,
Well, or they might get tired of it if they hear it day in and
That,
day out. Right.
yeah, because she hears me writing it, she
Not
hears me
because it's
rehearsing
bad,
it.
but just
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
whoa.
yeah. It's like
I've heard every
again.
iteration of this and I'm good.
I'm good. Thank you very much. So yeah, for sure. But it's been an amazing bridge for me. Like I've gotten a chance to co-write with so many amazing people. I went on a co-writing retreat. I didn't know it was a co-writing retreat. It was a songwriting retreat in Austin. Andrea Stolpe, who's an amazing writer, has a uh, she has a retreat she does 3 or 4 times a year in in the musical hubs in North America. And so I attended the one in Austin and learned my first formal bit about songwriting and also learned how to co-write. And it was like unlocking this mystical, magical connection with as a songwriter, you can get really connected to another songwriter and write an amazingly emotional piece together in like 3 hours. It's like amazing.
Right. When you hit it, you really it just
Yeah,
takes off.
you
Yeah.
can get yourself there.
Yep.
And I got a chance to write. I've had a chance to write songs with my son, my wife's mom. I got a chance to write with her. Just I love co-writing with just about with everybody, but family's even more special.
Wow. That's really cool. And so your wife is not one of those collaborators with you?
She she's not. Yeah, she's amazing at so many things, but she's not a poet or a you know she's a consumer of music for sure. She loves music,
Yeah.
but she doesn't have there's not a drive in her to create like that. Her mom had it. My son has it. My daughter, nah, she doesn't care about it. So I think different people have different creative muses, right? She'll make this beautiful cake, or she's very creative and she's very talented, but
Sure.
just not music.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, I say the same thing, not about music, but like about like writing, drawing, art. Like it makes me cry because I'm not inclined like that at all, but I am a professional appreciator of art. I actually said that this morning with somebody on Substack. But I love it. I can't do it, but somebody's got to be there to appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think that leads me to like know what brings you joy. You don't necessarily have to be good at it, but if it
Right.
brings you joy, do the thing. If you're not, there's plenty of people who are really good at something and it brings them no joy, but they have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that I really feel like, they need a career change. They need somebody to give them a big hug and bring them in a different direction. But I think just knowing yourself and knowing what you're good at and what you're not, uh, that's great wisdom there, Amy. Knowing, and then knowing how to be a good appreciator, right? I mean, you have to be a little bit creative yourself to be able to appreciate properly other
Mm-hmm.
people's art. You have to have a little bit of that in you.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I think what you're doing, Mark, is so important because I think your positive spin on life, your positive nature is so needed right now. Um, Things are a little crazy in the world, and we need a reminder of the fact that there's good and that there's beauty everywhere. And I love the fact that you are driving so that you can actually spend time in all of these places and see it all and see everything in between.
Yeah, it's such a phenomenal journey, and you know, um, you know, the stories I remember the most from being on the road are are when I got to unlock a little bit of extra positivity in the community. Maybe we did some kind of a charity support day in the community, or maybe I was able to collaborate with someone on a song or in a venue that touched someone else out in the crowd, and they told me about it later. Um, I wrote a song called "Perfect Light," and it's about finding that amazing energy that each one of us has and teasing it out, right, so that they can see it and then we can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and many times, I think we have these biases that we have to sort and get out of the way,
Mm-hmm.
so that we can appreciate that light and that beauty in that person, in that community. Um, yeah, it's a song that started when I was scientifically observing refraction through my windshield from the sun. I was breaking down the waves, and the I was looking for red because I love red. I was looking for the red frequency, and then my poet brain told
Right.
my science brain to stop it. Let's appreciate the light, and that really got me thinking about this concept. Yeah.
Yeah, that must be. I think that I mean we talked about this before, but like when I was growing up and singing in choir, like I was always told if you're if you're good at math, you're good at music or something like that, like reading music because you can, I don't know, like it's like a different brain. And I was like, I'm really good at music, but I don't know, no, not math me, but like just the polarization sort of like ish, like it seems almost like polarized science and music, but at the same time, like I think that they meld really well together. But I can imagine we're like, oh my goodness, look at all the refraction and the all the sciencey things, and your music brain is like, hold on, let me just take this in, like let's stop thinking, just experience it for a second.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what I've learned to do. It's a learned behavior as I've become more of a musician. I've got a balance now. Like I'm surfing a wave and I'm in balance, and so I can feel I can be curious and I can be science oriented and I can feel what's happening and I can let the two parts of me sort of interact in a way that gives me even a better perspective and view. I think I find uh, two things. One, uh, we all need a little bit of structure so that we can create.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, the engineer in me is really good at arrangements and, key choices and harmonization under something. And so I can create some level of organization, right? And so I think most of the people that I find who are really good at an instrument, not your voice, but at other instruments, uh, usually have an affinity to math and science. Um, and people who I know that are just pure vocalists,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time they don't like math and they don't like
Oh,
science. I think there's an intuitive element to singing. Now you could play piano too, and then okay, now you're kind of in the camp of doing both, right?
right,
But if you're just a vocalist, that's all you do.
right.
I know so many vocalists who hate.
You're like, math, no, thank you. No,
Yes,
no.
that. And so my theory is that in learning to sing, I had to turn the instrumentalist in me off because it's not helpful.
Right.
You really just have to learn to feel. It's all these feelings and sensations that go with learning to control your voice and training your ear are so very different.
Yep.
You know,
When you're
it's
singing, it's more like a feeling.
yeah,
It's an instinct, not so much like a beat.
yeah. For me, like there's like you said, there's a feeling, right? And I have different feel. Okay, I'm singing like a low piece, and I have a different feeling, a different way that I'm letting it out, and then I'm singing a higher piece or a stronger piece. I have different ways that I'm doing that, and I listen to other vocalists and what they're doing. I still love to get the vocal coach breakdowns of who's doing what and how they're learning, right? But then at some point in time, you have to internalize that, and you can't be thinking about it. It's like you just do it. You do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I
Right.
always wonder if I'd have grown up singing, because I love singing so much.
If
If
you
I'd
would
have grown up
approach it the same
singing,
way.
yeah, what would my life have been different, right? If I was doing that as opposed to learning to sing, later in my life. Uh,
Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, if you had grown up singing as opposed to studying, is that what like?
yeah,
Because you.
yeah. If I had stayed with my grandma more, writing poetry and painting, she didn't sing, right? So there was no one in my family singing. But
Mhm.
if she did sing, right, and then I picked that up from her instead of poetry or painting, right? How, what how would the lens of my life be different by having had grown up as a vocalist? I tell you a couple of things, like now things that I used to not think about, moments, I kind of ruined some moments because I'm a singer. And like, we're going to sing happy birthday. And people start singing happy birthday and they don't know the melody. And you're like,
Right, right,
right?
right. Yes, cringe. Yes,
Yeah. Cause you're this communal person. You're like, you want to get in there
and
and
it's
sing with
not like
everybody.
judgment. You're just like, what is this about?
But yeah, my brain goes, what? I don't know. What do I do? I don't know. Right? How do I sing? Uh, happy birthday, because if I'm singing it, anyway. So yeah, so there's some moments where it gets in the way. Having trained myself, it gets in the way of appreciating a moment that I normally would have appreciated. But they're small, but they are there. So
Yeah.
like 6 months after she passed, I had something happen in my life that she normally would have called me or written me a poem, or we'd have talked, or something would have, she was a mentor of mine as well.
Mm.
And I really needed to talk to her. And then I'm telling you, Amy, she started talking to me. I heard her voice loud and clear,
Wow.
and she was just you know,
She was right
I'm not
there.
sure if you're a spiritual person or not. I am. She was talking to me, and I have this sense of her just watching over me now, ever since that moment. I wrote a song called "I Hear Your Voice." It's about that experience, um, and how she's guided me, in my life, and I still hear her guiding me. So, yeah, I still get a little emotional when I sing that song, or even talk about it. But you know,
I love
she's
that.
with me
I
in a
love that
different
you
way.
had that. Yeah. But so
Yeah,
she must be so proud that you stayed with poetry and that you've added music and that you get to
yeah,
do something that's so meaningful. I love
yeah.
that.
It's and she was all about making the world a better place in her life too. She touched so many people in so many positive ways. Um, yeah, we were birds of a feather in that regard.
I love that. Since 5 years old. That's very sweet. Uh, all right. Well, so I just want to. I mean, if anyone is well, I mean, I'm gonna have a picture of you as well. But like, if you're watching this, you can see that. Or I mean, you can hear it also. Like Mark has a very like Jason Mraz tone in his voice, and he kind of looks a little bit of like a little bit. But that's it's sort of his music is sort of your style, right? Like it's ish,
Yeah,
Jason
yeah,
Mraz
yeah, yeah.
ish.
I would say somewhere between Jason Mraz, John Mayer, uh, Tom Petty, maybe if you or Vance Joy. Those are sort of adjacent artists
I
for
love
me. But
Vance
I
Joy.
love, yeah. I just watched a Jason Mraz live concert. He played a show in Paris, just him and his guitar.
Oh, amazing.
Phenomenal,
Yeah,
phenomenal. Anyway, yes, I love Jason Mraz.
that's awesome. Uh, I just love what you're doing, Mark. I think it's wonderful, and I love that you have this message that you want to share, and not just like I'm just a singer, but like it's more than just music. It's like this love, this appreciation, this respect for the world and the country, or the I mean, I guess the continent, because you're doing Canada as well with this tour, but like and it's so inspiring to you, and you're just like you're sharing the energy that you get from these experiences, which I think is so important. And I think that it must rub off onto the people that see you in concert, and to because I know you said that people will like reach out to you afterward and say that something really touched them, and I love that. I mean, music is so wonderful for that.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I get so much, when I show up to perform, uh, it's it's a giving moment for me. I'm there to give my energy to everyone, and and create as much, of that as I possibly can, so that people, while they're there, they can take away some of that with them. But I don't know it, but I don't think about it, but I get so much of it back, right? I mean, it's like I walk out. I thought I just gave 100, and then I'm walking out. I'm like, man, I'm feeling good, right? I'm not drained. I'm not tired. It's like I'm at 1,000, right? So I'm taking energy with me too, um, but that's not my intent. My intent is to give. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. It's like crazy math, but it's
We're
phenomenal.
making it we're making it intellectual.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sorry.
well,
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
I
I'm
can't help
sorry.
it. I'm a
Yes,
geek.
I'm.
I can't
Yeah.
help it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so, do you still have? I forgot to ask this before we hit record, but do you still have the poem that you wrote for Grounded in Maine?
I do. Would you like to hear it?
I would love to hear it.
Okay. So, my choice of forms for poetry is a haiku, which probably wouldn't surprise you now that you know I'm a nerd, because there's a 575 meter that goes with a haiku. Some other rules too. Sometimes I follow the other rules, sometimes I don't, like a cutting word and some other things. But um, a lot of times my thoughts start there, and then might go into something longer form, or might become a song. So I wrote this haiku when I was thinking about sustainability and what that means to me. And my thoughts centered around this notion of tension, because things need to be connected. And that means there's a certain amount of tension that has to happen between things for a system to remain together. And so the haiku's name is Tension. Cold tide pulls the moon. Spruce roots hold the soil's tension. Nothing stands alone.
All right. And so that's just beautiful. And I'm glad that I have it now recorded. So we'll add that in the show notes and stuff. So, but Mark, what does the word sustainability mean to you?
Sustainability, for me, it means that we've made something bigger than ourselves. So the concept in my mind, like the opposite of sustainability in my mind is like gluttony. I'm just gonna eat it all up myself, and I've satisfied my own hunger. Right? To me, sustainability is like, okay, here are the resources that we're all given, and we need to make sure that we're aware of that ecosystem and how it thrives, and that we're giving into that ecosystem so that it's thriving more than we're taking from it. And so for me, that sense of giving is important. And it makes me think about my kids, and when I'm out on the road, how are we all coming together to give more than we're taking?
Yeah. Well, and I think that as you were just saying that, I was like, it's just really profound, because as you're taking in everything, like you're just like receiving as you're driving to all these different places and seeing the whole country, and you're seeing all this beauty. Like, I imagine that feeling of like, I need to give back. And that's really profound.
Yeah, it's an honest feeling, for me. I think I sort of wore the shirt, leave the campsite better than when you found it, right? And to me, it's not like I don't know, it's not a slogan. You know what I mean? It's like a thing. I feel compelled to do it.
100%, yeah.
Imagine if everyone did that.
It would be amazing. It would be really amazing. Just like,
yeah.
How can we make everything better and team it up? It would be pretty cool.
Yeah. One little proton at a time. I'm adding one little proton to each person, right? At a time while I'm out on the road. My little fireflies in the field, creating some positive little vibes along the way. That's what I'm trying to do anyway. My little small part.
That firefly vision is pretty sweet. How can people find you, Mark, and follow? I mean, you're starting tour soon, but in the tour you guys is called the Good Vibes Highway Tour.
What? Yes.
120 cities for real.
Yes. Yeah, you can find me on my website, markwintersmusic.com. You'll see my tour schedule there, and if you want to check out a video or two, there's some live performance videos or music links to come out and join me for a show. That would be phenomenal. I would especially love to connect anyone who wants to do something in the in a community along my tour route. That's that's a volunteer event, and I have time for. I'd love to be a part of that as well. So please hit me up. Yeah, you can find me on your favorite streaming platforms as well under Mark Winters Music, and come get a little bit of nerdy positive energy.
I love it. I love that you just own that. It's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Mark. This is super fun. And I just love, like I said, I mean, I love your message, and I love that you just ooze positivity and you ooze respect for everything. And I just think it's wonderful, and we need more of that.
Thank you for having me, Amy, and thank you for having an amazing podcast.
I just want to take a second to thank my guest again for speaking with me and sharing such great information. I love having these conversations with folks. I also want to thank Buzzsprout for hosting the podcast, for Jane Bolduck and her music genius, for Becca Coffron and her award-winning artwork. And thank you for listening. I appreciate that so much. Please check out the show notes for any links and extra information. And if you would like to follow my guest and find out more about them, I'm sure they would love the follow. And if you don't mind leaving a rating or review wherever you're listening, and just help to get this podcast in front of new eyes, that would be amazing. I would really love that. And feel free to reach out to me on the socials and let me know what you're thinking. And if you would like to be a guest on the podcast, please let me know that. I would love to have a conversation with you about sustainability. All right. Thank you again. I hope you have a great rest of the week.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, how do I get there from here? 'Cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. We'll find a way to soothe the sickness. We'll heal the ache with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. When that state of grace has finally found me, well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears.